This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits it. A slammer!
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billy can win! Billy can win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
We are coming to you from Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village. Great to be back here. Tom Ackerman with you for the next 2 hours until we turn things over to Joe Pott, who will have our pregame show at 12:20 and then a first pitch at 1:15 for the Cardinals and the Toronto Blue Jays. What a game that was yesterday. What a game. As the Cardinals walked 7 from Jack Flaherty, 3 from Jordan Hicks, and still won the ball game. I would chalk that up and look back on April 1st and say that's a game that they took, because when you walk 10 in a game and win it, you should be very happy and fortunate. And the Cardinals played well enough otherwise to get the job done. They cashed in on opportunities at the plate. They made plays defensively. They beat out throws on the base paths, and they flat got the job done. Let's take a listen.
From KMOX Sports.
Play ball!
Hi, I'm Nolan Arenado. Time now for a look at yesterday's game with 9 and 60.
Very different weather today. Much cooler temperatures as we are in the high 40s right now. The wind is whistling out towards center field. Jack Flaherty is going to be the Cardinals' hope today. The Blue Jays in town, a very solid team with a deep lineup. You can say the same thing about the Cardinals.
They take off the 3-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Belt strikes out, leaving the bases loaded, and the Cardinals are coming to bat at Busch Stadium.
Swinging a ground ball left side. It's inside the bag and down the left field line. The Nets going to score 2. Arenado scores, and it's 3-0 Cardinals.
Here's a shot up the middle, knocked down by Biggio. The second baseman picks it up, throws, safe at first. The ball got away from Guerrero. He dropped it. The run scores. Arenado crosses the plate. 4-1 Cardinals. Now the fans stand at Busch Stadium with the Blue Jays down to their last out. Here's a swing, and it's popped up on the infield. Shading his eyes. Arenado calling. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. And the Cardinals are in the win column in 2023.
Again, that's a good win right there. Cardinals win it 4-1 over a very good Toronto Blue Jays team. You're going to hear from them for all season long. They're a lot like the Cardinals, very deep at all positions. They have good pitching. They have a ferocious lineup. They're going to be good all season long, and the Cardinals got them 4-1 yesterday after that crazy opening day game that went back and forth, that eventually the Jays won 10-9. Let's have a nice, clean, easy baseball game today. Do you think that's possible? I don't know, man. It's Major League Baseball. It's early in the season. You just never know what's going to happen in this game. The Cardinals get the win 4-1 yesterday. They also have Jordan Montgomery pitching today, and Montgomery has been really good. So I look forward to seeing what he can do today. It'll be Chris Bassett, who's been tough through his last couple of years. He'll pitch for Toronto. 1:15 start for Montgomery. And again, we're just 4 minutes away from Cardinals manager Oli Marmol joining us for his first Sports on a Sunday Morning appearance of 2023. Let's hear soccer for a moment.
Long ball all the way to the top of the Minnesota 18. The Dennerin elevated, Klaus elevated, leaks back to the defensive line, and the whistle does blow. Minnesota wins to stay unbeaten on the 2023 season. A penalty goal by Amaria in the 78th minute sends City to its first defeat in regular season franchise history.
And you could hear the fans weren't too happy about that call. 78th minute penalty kick and goal for Minnesota. They win it. Tough one for City, but a great win for Minnesota because City is really good. As they've shown, they're one of the best teams in the league out of the gate. They're 5-1, best in the West, best in the league right now with 15 points at the top of the table. Nothing to be ashamed of there. Eventually they were going to lose one. Lutz Pfannenstiel will join us on the way at 11:15, an hour from now. Final Four is down to 2. It's San Diego State and UConn. Lamont Butler with the game-winning shot last night for the Aztecs to knock out Florida Atlantic 72-71, and UConn just pasted Miami 72-59, and it wasn't that close. They're a 7.5-point favorite against San Diego State coming up this Monday night. The women play today at 2:30, Iowa and LSU for the national championship. One of them is going to win their first national title. Caitlin Clark, what a special talent for Iowa. She is unbelievable. The guard is worth watching for sure, and we'll highlight that on the way here at 10:30. 10:45, Dan Reardon previews the Masters, which gets going this Thursday. 11:15, I mentioned Lutz. 11:30, John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations. And at 11:45, we'll discuss the Blues' loss yesterday to Nashville, their game today against Boston, and the St. Louis Battlehawks play today down in Houston. They kick off at 1 o'clock. A lot of things going on. That's why we have sports on a Sunday morning. The St. Louis tradition coming to you this morning from Ballpark Village inside Cardinals Nation, looking in at a beautiful Busch Stadium. That's where Oli Marmol is sitting right now in his office. We'll catch up with him live next on KMOX.
Behind every great fortune lies a great crime. But what poisonous secret lies under one of the nation's most prestigious universities? Uncover the crime at the heart of Stanford University and the new true crime series, Bitter Academia.
After a while, Jade Stanford learns that when this much money is at stake, you cannot really trust anyone.
Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Cherry Kelly, man, CherryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, CherryKelly.com. Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until late. They're certified technicians, I've been told. Will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, CherryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, CherryKelly.com.
Beneath their gorgeous exterior, 1-800-GOT-JUNK trucks were designed to be ready for anything.
How about construction site junk?
All you have to do is point.
Retail, grocery store, warehouse, office junk?
Point, 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 point.
How about the monumental junk left after a fire or a flood or a hurricane?
This time, you'll need to do it with your other hand.
Why?
Because the first hand will be tired from all of that other pointing.
I see your point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Schedule your free tree inspection from Gamma Tree Experts now. I'm Tim Gamma. Our certified arborist and horticulturist are ready to meet you in preparation of the coming season. Winter is always hard on a lot of trees here in St. Louis. If you have a tree that you're really concerned about, let us come take a look at it for free. I'm Tim Gamma. Give me a call at 725-6159. That's 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care from Gamma Tree Experts.
Are you suffering from hearing loss, but you're afraid that hearing aids will make you look older? The Better Health Institute in Washington, D.C. says this is one of the top myths surrounding hearing loss. But the fact of the matter is, nodding your head and smiling when you have no clue what someone is saying is going to make you look much older than the largest hearing aid. So it's important not to use this as an excuse. It is important to see a clinical audiologist. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I recommend Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 convenient locations, Creve Coeur, Florissant, and in St. Peters. Dr. Bosler is an expert on the latest technology, and she carries and services the top hearing aids. Plus, I've known her for years. She cares deeply about her patients. Make an appointment today. Call 636-441-7470 or visit online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Infielders are playing the left-handed batter to pull the pitch. A swing and a miss. A curveball strikes out Varsho. And Flaherty finishes the 5th inning going 1-2-3 with a strikeout.
John Rooney with the call yesterday. Cardinals won at 4-1 over the Blue Jays. Jack Flaherty, what a line. 5 innings, no hits, no runs, but he does walk 7. He gets that strikeout there, and we bring in Cardinals manager Oli Marmol, sponsored by the Missouri Department of Tourism, and it is thrilled to have you back on the show. I can tell you that. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm coming to you from Ballpark Village. I probably should have done this show down in the studio. Maybe we can pull you down in the hallway, have you walk down to join us one of these times. I should have thought ahead. But being in the restaurant here and looking into beautiful Busch Stadium, it's Nice to have another day of baseball. You're 1-1 on the season. Let me just focus on Jack for a moment. You just heard the highlight. That is exactly what you talk about, isn't it? A pitcher that is struggling to find command, but when things aren't going right, works his way out of it, and he did that yesterday.
No doubt about it. It definitely wasn't pretty. I think we could all agree on that, including Jack. But what was impressive was his ability to keep his composure, not allow it to snowball. And at no part in that outing did he cave in. The no hits, no runs when you're walking 7 and hitting a batter. I've never been a part of something like that, but his ability to keep his composure was the key to all of it.
It was, and the Cardinals were able to follow up with the bullpen effort. Jordan Hicks walked 3, and I'll get to him in just a moment, but Drew Verhagen comes in and settles things down, doesn't he? And then you were able to close it out with Ryan Helsley.
Yeah, this is a guy we're going to continue to see do exactly what he did his last outing. Drew has his arsenal of pitches. It's silly. What he's able to do with the baseball is pretty impressive. He's got swing and miss stuff. This is what we were hoping for last year. Due to injury, we didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but we expect him to have a pretty impressive year.
He was very good. Andre Palante also pitched a scoreless frame, and I mentioned Helsley's inning in 2/3. You needed that inning in 2/3 because Jordan Hicks couldn't find the plate. He had 3 walks on the day. How would you describe what Jordan has done over these first 2 games?
Yeah, the game seemed a little fast yesterday, and as he starts to settle in, I think we'll see a better version of Hicks. I still have a lot of trust in him, so I'm not overly concerned with his outing. The 3 walks aren't ideal, but he'll make that adjustment. We've seen him make the adjustment in the past, so once he settles in, he'll be fine. But what Helsley was able to do was key to that whole thing with not having Gio in Game 1 and Game 2. That 8th inning is where you can lose the game, so we were willing to take our shot there in the 8th with Helsley. And even if he would have thrown a lot of pitches and not been able to go out for the 9th, I'd rather have that inning end with a 0 and give somebody else a shot with a clean inning with nobody on for the 9th. But we took our shot. It was good for him to get through the 8th with very little pitches and be able to go out there for the 9th and close that game out.
Yeah, how is Gio? Is he still dealing with some soreness and tightness, Oli?
Yeah, he is. He's going to come in this morning, and our hope is that he's able to long toss and get off the mound today. If so, that's a really good sign. But we won't know a whole lot for another hour or so.
Gotcha. And am I right in saying Jordan Hicks is not really a strikeout pitcher? He is a blistering 102, 103, 104. He can get it up there, but he really, when he's at his best, he gets weak contact. Is that what you want best out of him?
It's a lot of weak contact. Yeah, and because of the velocity, you would think he would get a lot more punch outs, but what his pitches do just lead to more soft contact than anything. And the first game, we saw 3 bloop singles, which could have easily been 3 outs, which was unfortunate the way that played out that whole game. There's a lot of soft singles from both sides. But last outing with 3 walks, that's where he's going to get himself in trouble. But weak contact, early contact with him is the key. And as he starts to hone it in, we'll continue to roll him out there and see what we got.
And you mentioned that Jack would be one of the first to tell you that he wasn't great yesterday, but he still gets no hits in those 5 innings. And I've really enjoyed talking to him. I feel like he's in a good place. I think I didn't talk to him after the game yesterday, but I did see his comments, and he's so honest and forthright. I guess the number one thing with him is health, isn't it? I mean, you got a healthy Jack Flaherty.
No, we do. And I think what you just said is the key to all of this. The more and more our players are good self-evaluators and honest with themselves and how their year is going, how their outings are going from week to week. All improvement starts with the truth. And as long as we can be truthful with them and they can be truthful with themselves, I think it leads to more and more improvement. And that's where we're at with Jack. His ability to sit down after yesterday's outing, take the good from it, understand what adjustments he needs to make is the key to his next outing. So I'm proud of where he's at mentally and physically leading into the season.
You had yesterday Nolan Arenado reaching on a throwing error by Matt Chapman. You're not going to see that very often. Chapman's really good, but that did score a run as you're able to get some base runners on before that. And then Nolan Gorman comes through with the 2-run single. I know you had to be smiling on that one as he is coming off a remarkable spring.
He had a really good spring, and it's always good to see these guys whenever you task them with something in the off season, to see them put their head down, get to work, and come back with a better version of themselves. And that's what we saw with Gorman. He made some really good adjustments offensively, mechanical adjustments, and had a productive spring, and we're expecting a productive season out of him. But yesterday, however you can get it, whether it's off the barrel, off the end, 2 runs or 2 runs, and we'll take it.
This is Oli Marmol, the Cardinals manager, with us every Sunday at 10:15, and we really appreciate it. The Cardinals won that game 4-1. Jordan Walker. This could be a 2-game question here, because he goes right in there. He smacks a single up the middle on the second pitch that he sees against the Jays on Thursday, then takes a day Friday, and yesterday he does the same thing. He had a pitch that he watched drop, and then the next one, he smacked it into the hole and left, and he reaches again. What an athlete he is. Couple of hits and an RBI yesterday, Oliver.
Yeah, and he's doing a really nice job. And this is a guy that is going to continue to settle into the league. I think his composure is unbelievable for his age, and just being here at Busch and the packed stadium, the whole deal. His at-bats, he looks like he knows what he's doing, good approach, under control, and he's going to continue to contribute defensively. We're just going to continue to see him improve day in, day out. He's out there with Willie and Pop every day, working on the defensive side of things, but we're impressed with what we're seeing, and we're looking forward to an exciting year out of Jordan Walker.
Well, how would you describe, and you've had a lot of time to think about it because you had a full day Friday after that, but that first game, it had a little bit of everything, didn't it, in that 10-9 game against the Blue Jays? They're good, but so is your team. I feel like your teams are very similar.
Yeah, it was an odd game when you look at the overall BABIP and just balls in play and how many of them fell in for both sides. It was completely out of the norm when you compare it to the rest of the league. And they had 19 hits, 16 singles, and a lot of them were very soft singles. We had our fair share as well. So it was just an odd game all the way around. And not having Gio obviously hurt there in the later part of that game. But the guys continue to go at it offensively, continue to punch back, which was good to see. And I think we're going to see a lot of that this year. There's a lot of depth and length to that lineup, and there's not a whole lot of breathing room. So whether we're down 3 or 4 early in that game, we never feel out of it, which is definitely a good feeling.
What a scene that is. We've seen it year after year after year here at Busch Stadium, and it just never gets old. In fact, it seems to get better and better with age, and that is the opening ceremony for opening day. What is that like for you behind the scenes, getting ready to head out there? You know the Clydesdales just came out. They're just going along the track at 2:30, making the crowd jump, and then the magic is inside the building. What is it like for you?
It's very rarely do I take a moment and just like sit back and take it in and enjoy, because you just have your head down and you're thinking about the very next pitch, the very next game, and just kind of strategizing for the day-to-day of the job. So very rarely do you take a step back and take it all in. But that's one of those times where I tell myself to, it's opening day. It goes unmatched here and at Busch Stadium, and the ability to ride out there, you hear the crowd, everybody's excitement for the season, and then you get dropped off and you shake all the Hall of Famers' hands. And it's a moment that I take my time with, because it's you're committing to continuing the legacy and the tradition that this organization has had for a long time, and you're shaking the hands of those that have done it well, and you're passing that along. So just taking your time, looking them in the eye, shaking their hands, making your way through that line, and then receiving the rest of the guys in that starting lineup, and then kicking off for pitch number 1. It's a really cool moment, and one I enjoy. It, to your point, definitely doesn't get old.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody does it better in our game than the St. Louis Cardinals. All right, so I saved one of the biggest questions for last, if people are just joining us, and that is Wilson Contreras. How is he? Boy, that was a tough moment there, taking that sinker off the knee. I'm glad to hear that those exams were clean. What's the latest you can tell us about Wilson?
Yeah, he came in the next day, and he was moving around a lot better than any of us anticipated. He was able to squat down, kind of do everything that he was asked to do yesterday, feeling a lot better as well. So he's in the lineup today, and he's ready to go, which is awesome, because that could have got ugly real quick.
That's awesome. He'll be behind the plate, not DHing?
He's behind the plate today. That's correct.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And then Lars Newpar, that thumb injury, is everything okay there?
Yeah, thumb injury sliding in the third in game one. He's feeling better today. He's going to go down and take some swings here in a moment and let us know what he's able to do, whether that's via defensive replacement or if he's able to take an at bat. But he's continuing to make progress every day, which is a good sign.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate it. I see your lineup here that just got released with Carlson in the middle, Walker
you approve it, or
right, and
you got any?
What's that?
You got any questions on the lineup? Any suggestions?
No, I think it looks good to me. I mean, that's the thing is you've got so many pieces that you can move around right now. And I guess my one question is Dylan Carlson. Just how do you see him in that role as we close with Oli Marmol? He is quote unquote your fourth outfielder, but then again, you have 5 outfielders that you can play around with.
We do. And a part of what we'll do is make sure that we keep these guys fresh, especially early on in the season as you get into it. And there's plenty of at-bats to go around. And we have, a really good problem in that we have a lot of guys that can play the outfield well and that take good at-bats. And we'll mix and match and make sure that guys are staying sharp and not sitting for too long, but also getting in the groove. And we'll use them appropriately. It's a really good problem to have, and we'll see how the season goes. But there's enough at bats for Carlson and the rest of that group to stay sharp.
Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate this. Have a great game today against the Blue Jays.
All right, appreciate it, Tom. Thank you.
There's Cardinals manager Oli Marmol with us on KMOX's Sports on a Sunday morning. Great to have him. We are inside Cardinals Nation, Ballpark Village. Cardinals getting set to take on the Blue Jays today. Pregame at 12:20. Up next, we'll take a look at yesterday's Final Four and today's national championship for the women. It's Iowa against LSU. Then Monday night, San Diego State will take on UConn. Plus, Dan Reardon previews the Masters at 10:45. Lutz Pfannenstiel still upcoming, the sporting director for St. Louis City SC at 11:15. John Mozeliak will join us at 11:30. We'll talk Blues and Battlehawks as well before we send things over to the Cardinals Radio Network. It is Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. I'm Tom Ackerman on KMOX.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
As the familiar tune fills the air, joy radiates along with the heat of flickering flames. You make a wish for another year surrounded by the ones you love. With each passing year, the compassionate team at Prairie Cardiovascular will be by your side with heart care that allows you to focus on what matters most. A life well lived. Prairie Cardiovascular, here with you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Texting, phone calls, TikTok, Instagram. It's a world of constant distraction. And when the distraction happens behind the wheel of a car, tragedies occur. People are injured, lives destroyed, families torn apart. We can't undo what happened, but we can help you recover. I'm Jim Onder. At Onder Law, we're not only on your side, we're by your side.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million. That's 9 all zeros.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 38,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
YMCA camp counselors get to laugh, play, and lead youth in meaningful camp experiences. Be outside. Be in charge of the fun. That's a summer job with benefits. Hiring for day camp, Y Camp Lakewood overnight camp, and lifeguards. Visit gwrymca.org.
Ready to smell your best everywhere? You deserve a deodorant capable of actually controlling body odor, not just covering it up. Lumi is the whole body deodorant powered by science that controls unwanted odor for 72 hours on our pits, feet, and privates. We didn't create deodorant, we just changed everything about it. Lumi blocks odor from happening in the first place. It's aluminum-free and pH optimized to control odor safely on all the right places. And did I mention it's vegan and cruelty-free? With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it or return it for free. There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 903 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 903. LUMEdeodorant.com, code 903 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 903.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to Ballpark Village, looking in from left field at a beautiful Busch Stadium. The sun is shining on the middle and upper decks behind home plate, lighting up that Budweiser sign. It looks great. The players will be warming up and getting ready for Cardinal baseball as the Cardinals take on the Blue Jays today. This is Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. I'm Tom Ackerman, and it's great to be with you. We just heard from Cardinals manager Oli Marmol. He is back with us for another season, and you can always listen to those visits, which are about 15 minutes in length, every Sunday at 10:15. If you just missed it, you can go to the KMOX Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast. They will have it up. You could also use your Odyssey app if you want. You just rewind. The Odyssey app's great because you can listen to the game or the show, and there are segments of the show you can listen to. Like that last segment with Oli Marmol, you can just go to the Odyssey app and scroll up to 10:15 to 10:28 or 29 whenever we stopped, and you just click on that, and it just starts playing the interview that you just missed. It's really great. It's on-demand radio. I absolutely love it. So that's where we are with the Cardinals and the Blue Jays today, and I mentioned to him that I saw the lineup, and we touched on it a little bit. It just came out. He commented on Wilson Contreras starting at catcher and Dylan Carlson starting in center field. Here's the lineup, how it looks today. Brendan Donovan will lead off and play second base. Alec Burleson is in left field batting second. Paul Goldschmidt, the first baseman, bats third. Nolan Arenado is the cleanup hitter. He's the third baseman. Wilson Contreras, the catcher, bats fifth. Nolan Gorman, the DH, will bat sixth. Jordan Walker in right field batting seventh. Dylan Carlson will play center field today and bat eighth. And Tommy Edman, the shortstop, bats ninth. Donovan, Burleson, Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras, Gorman, Walker, Carlson, and Edman. For the Blue Jays, they'll have George Springer, who is just a tremendous baseball player. He's in right field leading off. Bo Bichette is the shortstop, bats second. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the first baseman, bats third. Dalton Varsho is the center fielder batting fourth. Alejandro Kirk will DH today and bat fifth. Matt Chapman, the third baseman, bats sixth. Whit Merrifield is the left fielder batting seventh. Danny Jansen is the catcher. He bats eighth. Santiago Espinal is the second baseman batting ninth, with Chris Bassett as the pitcher for the Blue Jays. Jordan Montgomery goes for the Cardinals. That lineup for the Blue Jays again: Springer, Bichette, Guerrero, Varsho, Kirk, Chapman, Merrifield, Jansen, and Espinal. I think they're a really good team, the Blue Jays, just like the Cardinals. I see them almost as mirror images of each other. They both have a lot of power in the middle of their order. They both have good fielding third basemen and outfielders and players just in general. Good speed. The pitching, I think, is good for both. Two great teams. So we'll see where it goes with these two today as the Cardinals try to win this series. Today at 2:30, she will try to win the first national championship for the University of Iowa. She is Caitlin Clark, and if you haven't seen her, she is absolutely remarkable. Back-to-back 40-point efforts, 40 for the Iowa guard, who reminds some of, on the men's side, Pistol Pete Maravich. She does it all. She can score from the outside, inside. She handles the ball. She is a leader, and she is with ESPN's Holly Rowe.
Well, it was such a hard night for you that you're cramping in the celebration huddle. How did this team do it? Very few thought you could.
All we did was believe in each other. You know, we might even not be the tallest. You know, we knew they were going to beat us on the glass, but all we had to do was have some heart and some belief. And, you know, we came through when we needed big plays, and I'm just so proud of this group, man.
Your coach told you earlier today that common people can do uncommon things. How did this group keep the circle tight when it mattered the most to finish this out?
You know, all we do is believe in one another, and we love each other to death. And that's what a true team is. You know, if you want an example of a team, that's what this is. Coach Litter knows how to create a team. She knows how to create a culture where everybody's valued, and I'm just lucky enough to be a part of it. You know, I love these girls to death.
It was a scrappy win, though. Kate Martin defending like crazy, people fighting their lives for rebounds. How hard was it?
Man, it was physical. You got to give them a lot of credit. They're a tremendous team. They've had a tremendous year, obviously so well coached. And, you know, they killed us on the glass, but we never hung our heads. You know, we just came right back down every single possession and got after it.
Caitlin, I know it's not about you, but this is an unbelievable performance for you. How did you have ice in your veins tonight?
You know, just to believe. We had nothing to lose. You know, I have all the confidence in this world, in this group, and, you know, they believe right back in me, and that's all you need is just teammates that believe in you, coaches that believe in you, a program and a university that supports you, the state of Iowa. You know, they've supported me like no other, and I love it.
You scored almost every single point for Iowa since it was 62-60. Do you understand what you've just done?
No, honestly not, but, you know, all that matters is that we won at the end of the day, and the scoreboard says that the Iowa Hawkeyes won, and that's exactly what we did.
All right, let's see you in the national championship game. How does that sound?
There, that sounds amazing.
Wow, what a great teammate, great player. Caitlin Clark, as good as you'll find in this game on the men's or women's side. Tremendous. And a historic performance in the women's Final Four, which they will play the championship at 2:30 today. They beat the number 1 overall seed South Carolina 77-73, the first loss of the season for South Carolina. They are now 36-1 to end their year, and Caitlin Clark will take on LSU as Iowa goes to the national championship at 2:30 today down in Dallas. Meanwhile, just to the south of that in Houston, not only are the Battlehawks playing today against Houston, but they are getting ready for the national championship tomorrow between San Diego State and UConn. UConn, let's start with them. They blasted Miami yesterday. It was 72-59, but I got news for you. It wasn't that close. UConn could have done whatever they wanted on the floor yesterday. Jim Larinaga said after the game to Tracy Wolfson of CBS that they just did not have their game. They didn't play well, and UConn took full advantage. They look great. They have a great inside-out game themselves. Everybody on that floor for UConn is a threat, and they are one game away from a national championship. Would be their fifth. And I'll tell you what, as an Indiana alum, that doesn't sit very well. I'll tell you that. Indiana has won 5 national championships. This UConn Huskies men's basketball team has won national championships, and they have won 4 of them since Indiana won their first in 1980 or their last in 1987. UConn's won, just to remind you, in 99, 2004, 2011, in 2014. And if they win here in 2023, do you start inviting them to the blue blood conversation? Do you leave them out of Kansas and Kentucky and North Carolina and Duke and UCLA and Indiana? Or do you invite them in? Because this will be 5 national titles for UConn. That's a lot, folks. So they are a 7.5-point favorite. Now, waiting for them, however, is, I think, a really good basketball program that's been unnoticed for a long time. That's San Diego State. They have one of the most raucous student sections and home atmospheres in all of college hoops. The problem is, just like, you know, Mike Trout for the Angels or some of the greatness that we see on the West Coast in the NBA, we don't get to see it a lot. A lot of us are asleep by the time that San Diego State tips. But they have great atmospheres out there, and they play hard. And they showed it yesterday against Florida Atlantic. I know this was a last-second shot that was made by Lamont Butler last night and a tremendous shot for San Diego State. But they won that game because they just out-muscled and out-willed a tough FAU team down the stretch. Florida Atlantic was up by 14. And this team, San Diego State, just grabbed offensive rebounds. They out-toughed FAU in the very end, and in the end got a shot. But it was what they did to put themselves in position to make that happen, to climb back into the game. That was not easy against a really good Florida Atlantic team. They ended up edging them 35-31 in the rebound battle, but San Diego State pulled down 12 offensive rebounds, 12 yesterday against the Owls, and beat them by a point, got themselves into position to win the game, and they did. Tough loss for Florida Atlantic and Coach Dusty May. I mentioned earlier on KMOX that I went to their practice on Tuesday. Yes, part of that reason is Dusty's an IU guy, Bob Knight's former student manager. But, man, I love the way they play, and I hope that they don't feel bad about what they've accomplished. I know it doesn't feel good to lose ever, but to make it to the Final Four for that little school is really special. A great win for San Diego State, however, and they're a 7.5-point underdog tomorrow against UConn. I feel like that's a lot of points. Even as good as UConn is, I feel like that's a lot of points. 7.5 to give San Diego State, a team that regularly is in close, tough basketball games. UConn, they blow teams out. They win by double digits. What happens if they get into a close game? They haven't done that in a while, but they're really, really good. We will take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll talk some golf. Jim Nance is going to go from the Final Four to the Masters. That's his week. Dan Reardon of KMOX Sports will be waiting for him down in Augusta. He joins us next on KMOX.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji here.
Join us Tuesday, April 18th at the Center of Creative Arts as KMOX presents a conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett.
Major will be there to sign his new book, The Big Truth.
You can pre-purchase your copy at Left Bank Books or the night of the event.
A conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, Tuesday, April 18th. The event is free. You do need to reserve your spot, though. For more information and reservations, KMOX.com/events.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $2,500 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $2,500 towards a new garage door and opener of their choice. You can't win if you don't play. Deadline to enter is April 30th. Enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorstlouis.com. Good luck. Maybe we'll see you at our next installation.
Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Did you know that you can list your home with a full-service real estate brokerage for only 4%? Straight Realty is licensed in Missouri, and we would love to talk to you about a winning strategy to get your home sold while saving you money. Call us at 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-fours. Call us at 314-441-4444. Why pay more than $4?
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years of business, going back to 1898. To celebrate, they're taking $18,980 off every home. The Preserve, a great location close to Ted Drew's, Kirkwood, Webster Groves, villas from the 300s, the Liberty Series in the Glen, luxurious designer series on wooded lots in the estates. All three villages are now open at the Preserve at Watson and McKenzie, McKelveyhomes.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things as we count down to Earth Day. Just 20 days to go. A simple way to save water is to turn the water off when you are brushing your teeth or shaving. Only turn it on to rinse when necessary. Remember, every drop counts. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Coming to you from Ballpark Village, Cardinals Nation Restaurant. It's open, and fans know that. They are already coming in, grabbing a table. The bar is busy. The restaurant, the kitchen is cooking. Ballpark Village looking out at Bally Sports Midwest Live. They're really hopping out there. Fans are already coming in. This is going to be a big crowd again today for the Cardinals and the Toronto Blue Jays. Want to wish a happy birthday to 8-year-old Anaya, listening in on Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. Anaya, we hope you have an awesome, awesome birthday and hope the Cardinals can get a win for you. That'd be great. Happy 8th birthday to Anaya. We welcome into the show our senior golf editor, Dan Reardon, who is going to be Augusta bound, I understand, very soon. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing fine, Tom. Yeah, this is 38 years ago was the first time I ever covered the Masters, so I'm looking forward to it. I never get bored with the Masters. And by the way, how would you like to be Jim Nance's companion starting yesterday over the next 8 days?
Oh, my gosh. It's such a great job. It really is. Alana Campbell, my friend who works for CBS, she did an incredible job producing a video on his basketball career. This will be his last Final Four, and doing it in Houston, where he went to college. And really special. If you want to direct yourself to that, I posted it on my Twitter page. It's really good. And then there's the whole – let's talk about him for a minute. Then there's the whole career that he's had in the game of golf. You talk about 38 years, Dan. I believe Nance is right along that number. I think it's been about that long.
I think that's correct, Tom. And by the way, I will also mention one of the secrets behind Jim Nance is Tom Spencer, who is his statistician, his historian. He's with him now on the NFL telecast. He's with him on the NCAA telecast, and he's always been a golf guy. And Jim is the face of that operation, but he'll be first to tell you it's part of a team operation.
Absolutely right. And he is a terrific person and just treats so many people so well, including me, anytime that I see him, which is not as often as I'd like to. But when I do get to catch up with him, he is just incredible to everybody, anybody who works on that broadcast. And you're right. For the young broadcasters out there, you want to go far in this business, be somebody that everyone loves working with. And Jim Nance is that to a T. You never hear anybody say a bad word about Jim Nance. They love working with him, and part of the reason is what Dan just said. Dan, we love working with you, and let's talk some golf. The Masters does get underway on Thursday, but it really starts before that. How does the week really get going at Augusta leading up to that first round?
Well, it's changed now because of the women's tournament. You know, they have the women's national amateur, the Augusta women's national amateur there, and that started on Thursday and wrapped up yesterday. The only round the final round was played at Augusta, but they market that package together. So, for instance, today when they have drive, putt, and chip and things going on, they have a big extravaganza, which will be new from the media center coming from CBS tonight. So it's changed. It's grown a little bit further back into the prior week, and now it becomes, I guess, maybe a 10-day event rather than a 7-day event. Monday, from a player standpoint, most of the players will arrive on Monday. By Tuesday, the whole field is there, and that's the heavy workload in terms of the interview schedule. Wednesday is Fred Ridley's press conference and the par 3, and then you get the 4 days of the championship. And by the way, the first thing you have to know about every Masters is the weather, and they're going to get rain tomorrow. They're going to get rain on Friday and Saturday, perhaps a little bit on Thursday, but Friday and Saturday as much as an inch of rain over that 2-day period of time. So you will see the golf course a little different than they would have preferred. And by the way, the Saturday round will be very reminiscent of last year. High of 54, rain, very reminiscent, as I said, of last year's Masters.
Wow. How about that? Who does that favor, Dan? Does that favor anybody or group of players in particular?
Well, it certainly will reward length, and it will only not in the sense that the golf course will play longer. The golf course, the fairways will play softer. And so the players don't have to worry as much about the ball running out of the fairway and into that light rough, which controls your ability to spin the ball into the greens. So, yeah, the guys that can fly the ball a long way in the air, those shots will land softly in the fairway, and that will be a distinct advantage. It does work against the shorter hitters, no question about it.
The Texas Open is playing right now, and Patrick Rogers has a one-shot lead in San Antonio. I see a few names in there, but not most people don't do that, right, Dan? They skip that tournament right before, but I see a former Masters champion, Hideki Matsuyama, 6 under after a 68 yesterday. I mean, he's right in there as well.
Every player handles it differently, and I think the last player to win the week prior to the Masters was Phil Mickelson, and that's when the PGA Tour would stop in Atlanta, and then the following week they would just drive up 20 to Augusta and have the Masters tournament. So it varies player by player, but we've seen more and more. Nicklaus is the one who set the pattern of not playing the week before and sort of staging his preparations and then showing up that week and getting things done. Tiger obviously will be there probably starting maybe even today. I would suspect today. But the players are mostly looking at Saturday, Sunday coming in and then being on the course 2 of the 3 days because the practice round on Wednesday is only in the morning because of the par 3 tournament.
Who's the favorite here? Is it Jon Rahm, Scotty Scheffler? Am I on target with those two being probably the top 2 picks?
Oh, I think that's a trio. I think the big 3 is Rahm, Scheffler, and McIlroy. And McIlroy for me is always a sentimental pick because this would complete the slam for him. But I'm going to say that for a different reason. I was in the room with Rory on Sunday afternoon when he finished a brilliant final round. And I've been around every one of Rory's major wins in this country, and I've never seen him as excited as he was after his Sunday round at Augusta. He believed at that time that he had killed his demons, and there's always been a one-round demon that's haunted Rory as he's tried to pick up that final leg of the Grand Slam. And he thinks that's in his past, and he's played well enough this year that he certainly fits in that category of the big 3. Rahm, I would say, is the biggest question mark because he's had some problems with illness and performance over the last month. And Scheffler, well, he's trying to go back-to-back, and I believe I'm correct. The last guy to go back-to-back was Tiger, and that's quite a ways back.
Yeah, I agree with you on McIlroy always being the sentimental favorite, and I always seem to pull for him to do well. I just enjoy watching him, and I think he's one of the good people as well. Who's lurking, Dan? I mean, there's, of course, the big names of Spieth and Justin Thomas. I think, everyone's always wondering when Tony Finau is going to erupt and rattle off some huge wins and huge moments. I always wonder about a player like a Max Homa, who I think has really come on and played well. What do you think about those players?
I like all those choices. I said to somebody yesterday that Jordan Spieth likes that week so much that he probably has a 2-stroke advantage before he tees off because of the comfort level. And Homa is certainly the new face on the PGA Tour, the young face breaking through. I would look at the internationals as well. I'll take the 2 Brits. I'll take Justin Rose, who's had a very good bounce back first quarter of the year, and I will take Matthew Fitzpatrick, who has beefed up quite a bit and can play at length at Augusta. And then if he could ever figure out how to handle bunkers, I would put Victor Hovland in that category. Hovland may be the best driver of the golf ball after McIlroy in the field. And you mentioned Justin Thomas. There is the enigmatic player, I think, because he's never had success at Augusta. And he's a great player. He's won 2 major championships. One day he's going to figure that out as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think one of these days you are going to see him get that done. Well, it's always a lot of fun to see who will end up with the green jacket. I know we will catch up between now and then, but I really appreciate this. Thanks for getting us started as we get ready for the Masters. And what's your plan? When do you get going?
I'll be there. I'll be off all 4 days of the championship. It was a little bit of a problem last year from a travel standpoint, but I've never been to the par 3 tournament. And all the years that I've gone to Augusta, I've got to factor that in at some point in time. And Tom, very quickly, people should pay attention to the 13th hole, which has been lengthened 50 yards. And I don't think people are talking enough about the fact that may take the pine straw on the high side out of play. That's where Phil Mickelson made that great shot in winning this championship. I don't think the pine straw is going to be as much of a factor, and the players may play a high line and change the way that hole is played.
That's really interesting. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. Well, when I was at that FAU practice on Tuesday, all that West Palm Beach media, they were all making plans on when they were going to Augusta. So I'm very envious of all the folks covering the Masters. What a great time, a great start to the golf season, really. Dan, have a great time down there, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Enjoyed it, Tom.
This is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning from Ballpark Village, Cardinals Nation. Back after the news.
All right. I had a call the other day, last week, from a young man that was referred to me by his father because a piece of piping fell off his furnace. That piece of piping happened to be his flue pipe, which literally rusted from the inside out and fell to the ground. And his wife only seen it because when she went down to the gym to work out in their basement, she goes, "Well, that's weird. What's this?" Remember, the flue pipe rusted from the inside out and fell to the ground. The furnace was under 10 years old. That was carbon monoxide emitting directly into the house with a newborn baby. Please have your furnace checked, regardless of the age. I would prefer you to call me. That's Bart Inman. One easy number, 314-293-2600. Very easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jules on Hampton your first stop. Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. TrueHold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And TrueHold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since TrueHold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Steel.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. Federal and local authorities are ratcheting up security in Lower Manhattan ahead of this week's arraignment of former President Trump. Here's CBS's Michael George.
A source familiar with the indictment of Donald J. Trump tells CBS News the former president is being charged with falsifying business records in the first degree, a felony. The charge stems from alleged hush money paid to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The indictment, handed down by a New York grand jury, remains sealed until his arraignment, expected on Tuesday, when the former president would surrender to authorities in New York.
Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says he's running for president. He told ABC he's offering Republicans an alternative, especially given the indictment of Donald Trump.
I think it's a sad day for America that we have a former president that's indicted. And so it's a great distraction. But at the same time, we can't set aside what our Constitution requires, which is electing a new leader for our country.
At least 28 people are confirmed dead after severe weather tore through 8 states. Cody Combs was in his van in Little Rock, Arkansas, when the tornado barreled across.
Normally, you'd be able to see 3 houses, just the backside of them, and then maybe a couple of roofs of some of the other ones. I could see for almost a clear mile of just straight debris, flattened houses, just foundation mostly, and a couple walls on all of the houses.
Severe storms also collapsed the roof of a packed concert venue in Illinois. A day after leaving a Rome hospital, Pope Francis presided today over Palm Sunday Mass in St. Peter's Square. CBS's Sabina Castelfranco reports from Rome.
This year's Holy Week ceremonies will be different, as the Pope was hospitalized with breathing difficulties and was treated for bronchitis. He was discharged from Rome's Gemelli Hospital yesterday and appeared to have recovered well.
Who's going to the NCAA championship game?
The Husky Express heading to a Monday night championship appearance.
Jim Nantz calling the game on CBS, saying the UConn Huskies will join the San Diego Aztecs. The Huskies beat the Miami Hurricanes 72-59 to advance. This will be the Aztecs' first ever appearance in a national championship game. Connecticut has 4 titles under its belt. Thousands of Israelis took to the streets yesterday despite a pause in controversial judicial reforms. This protester was among them.
This is not something that we can live with. We cannot live in a state that is not democratic. So it's a fight till the end.
Many say they welcome the pause, but they don't believe Prime Minister Netanyahu's government will negotiate in full faith. This is CBS News.
Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com, STIHLUSA.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 11:03, we have sunny skies and 55 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story. A Creve Coeur police officer is expected to be okay after getting hit by a car last night.
It happened around 9:30 in the parking lot of the West Oak Shopping Center on Olive Boulevard. Investigators say the officer was checking on a report of a despondent driver, and that driver made contact with his car while fleeing the scene, as well as striking a squad car. We're told police caught up with the suspect on northbound 270 and took him into custody. The officer reportedly suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Charges are pending. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
The National Weather Service reports the tornado that moved through Salem, Illinois Friday night and stayed on the ground for about 10 minutes was rated EF1 with a max wind speed of 105 miles per hour. The path length was 6 miles and a width of 250 yards. No deaths or injuries were reported. However, Salem has declared a state of emergency and a curfew is in place through Monday at least. There is concern for another severe weather outbreak this Tuesday. The National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center says the potential for widespread severe weather exists in both Illinois and Missouri. But the Weather Service has scheduled maintenance on the radar and postponed it until Thursday. The lead forecaster is Jared Maples.
Active weather maybe early next week that could be impacting our area. And we just thought it was best to try to kind of push for a delay and hopefully get through these rounds. And then hopefully when we come up on the maintenance, April 6th, we get into at least a quiet period.
A former standout girls basketball player at Columbia, Illinois High School is now a national championship coach. Hannah Verrill was on the sideline Saturday as Transylvania University of Kentucky defeated Christopher Newport University, the program's first ever Division III women's basketball crown. Verrill is an assistant coach for Transylvania. She used to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers in St. Louis. Your weather forecast, gorgeous the next couple of days. 70 for a high today, lots of sun. Tomorrow, 74. Maybe a few clouds moving in. There have been Tuesdays when we're keeping an eye on things. Severe thunderstorms could break out in the afternoon. They could have damaging winds, flood downpours, hail, even an isolated tornado. Temperatures around 82 for Tuesday. Right now it is 55 in St. Peters, 57 in Florissant, 55 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
And welcome back. Sports on a Sunday morning coming to you from inside Cardinals Nation Restaurant, Ballpark Village. Beautiful day for baseball. Cardinals fans are down here. They're drinking beer. They're eating breakfast and brunch and lunch, and they're having fun getting ready to go into the ballpark for a game against the Blue Jays today at 1:15. Yes, they're already down here 2 hours early doing some pre-gaming as they get ready for this ball game today. That's exciting. I heard Scott Jagow just talk about the women's team, the Division III national champion basketball team at Transylvania, and congratulations to them. Speaking of college basketball, this is a great story. Jean Bess the former coach of the men's basketball team at Three Rivers Community College in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, hired there in 1971, 1,300 wins, a 757 winning percentage, the all-time winningest coach in college basketball history, 2 national junior college titles, first coach to reach 1,000 wins, first coach to reach 1,200 wins, is a Basketball Hall of Famer. The Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame announced yesterday that Gene Bess will go into the Hall, and congratulations to him and everyone connected to him down in Poplar Bluff, including SLU women's basketball player Kylie Bess, his granddaughter, Jean Bess. That is fantastic. What a great, great story that is as part of the Hall of Fame class of 2023. Here at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals got after it yesterday. Jack Flaherty had trouble finding the strike zone. He walked 7, but he was able to right the ship and post zeros, and in the bottom of the third, this happened with a run already in on an error by third baseman Matt Chapman. Here's Nolan Gorman.
Swinging a ground ball left side. It's inside the bag and down the left field line, and that's going to score 2. Arenado scores, and it's 3-0 Cardinals.
Cards feast on that opportunity. Ricky Horton with the call. Cards up 3-0 after 3, and then the top of the 4th. How about this, Jim?
Payoff pitch coming up. The runner not moving. The 3-2 pitch is hit into shallow right field. And backing up is the second baseman, Donovan, and he makes the catch over his shoulder.
Incredible catch by Brendan Donovan, the Gold Glove utility man. Cardinals holding that 3-0 lead. It was 3-1 in the 8th inning, and Jordan Walker trying to make something happen.
Here's a shot up the middle, knocked down by Biggio. The second baseman picks it up, throws, safe at first. The ball got away from Guerrero. He dropped it. The run scores. Arenado crosses the plate. 4-1 Cardinals.
Couple of hits on the day for Walker. I think his speed really speeds you up and makes you do some things that you don't want to do. And that drop ball right there, run scores, 2 hits for Walker. He gets an RBI. Cardinals with a 4-1 lead. Now, they had their adventures pitching-wise. We mentioned the 7 walks by Jack Flaherty. He also hit a batter. We mentioned earlier the 3 walks by Jordan Hicks, and he threw a wild pitch. But the Cardinals still have a 3-run lead. They hand it over to Ryan Helsley. He gets 2 outs in the 8th. He works the 9th.
On 2-2 to Vlad Guerrero. A swing and a miss. He's out on strikes. And the Blue Jays are down to their last out. Helsley 1 out away from setting up a rubber game in the 3-game series at 1:15 tomorrow.
That's a good hitter he just got there in Vlad Guerrero, and then this call.
Now the fans stand at Busch Stadium with the Blue Jays down to their last out. Here's a swing, and it's popped up on the infield. Shading his eyes, Arenado calling. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. And the Cardinals are in the win column in 2023.
John Rooney with a great call there, and the Cardinals win the ball game 4-1 over the Blue Jays to even the series at a game apiece. Rubber game is today, 1:15 here at the ballpark, with Jordan Montgomery making the start against a good one on the other side. Again, Chris Bassett. I think this Cardinals-Blue Jays series, I think they're very close to each other. I think they're similar teams. Bassett and this Blue Jays lineup with Springer and Guerrero and Chapman and Merrifield, among others, they can play, and it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out today. The Cardinals lineup, Donovan, Burleson, Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras, Gorman. Yes, Contreras is back in playing catcher. Walker, Carlson, and Edman. Oli Marmol, who was on with us last hour, has the lineup in the outfield, a line like this: Burleson in left, Carlson in center, Walker in right, and we'll see how the Cardinals perform today on a beautiful day downtown. It's starting to warm up and warm up considerably. It's already up to 56. When we started today, it was 36. Now it's sunny and 56, and we're supposed to get up to somewhere around 68 degrees. That'll happen probably later this afternoon towards the back end of this ball game, with some windy conditions expected as we move along here today. We have also another partner here on KMOX, and that would be St. Louis City SC. They took their first L of the season. We'll talk to Lutz Vandensteel, their sporting director, next on the show. At 11:30, we'll go back to baseball with John Mozeliak, the Cardinals president of baseball operations. And at 11:45, we'll take another look at the Blues and the Battlehawks as we get you ready for Cardinal baseball today at 12:20 pregame. Back with Lutz right after these words.
I feel like I should call him.
Why would you call him now? Everything's working beautifully.
Jerry Kelly is St. Louis's favorite heating and cooling company. Mine too. They make me happy and comfortable every day. That deserves a phone call once in a while.
Jerry Kelly's your favorite because they're fast.
They're my favorite because they got it going on.
Nope. They're our favorite because they're good. Since they fixed it, it has stayed fixed.
I still feel like I should call.
Why don't you just visit JerryKelly.com?
Can you hear it? There's no sound quite like it. The roar of every Tiger makes the difference at Furrow Field. In this league, there are no days off, so don't miss a minute of the action. Lock in your tickets today by calling 1-800-CAT-PAWS. M-I-Z.
Play ball! Step up to the plate by donating your old car to Goodwill and get 4 box seats to a Cardinal game. Your car donation to Goodwill will help people right here in St. Louis. Donating is easy, towing is free, and you get a tax receipt. Plus, you'll get Redbird tickets, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. You can put the car in Cardinal by donating to Goodwill today. Donate online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention promo code Cardinals. Hurry while supplies last.
Gas Appliance Service has just made getting your new gas, charcoal, or pellet grill easier than ever. Gas Appliance Service by Westport and Fireplace and Grill Center in Manchester not only offers an amazing selection of top name brands, they offer you professional installation and stand by their product warranties. Those big box stores don't even compare. Stop by or shop online at gasapplianceservice.net. Just click for your estimate and get grilling at gasapplianceservice.net.
Carol Daniel for the Beam Central Vacuum System, giving you convenience, power, and clean air in your home. I know all this time we have spent at home the last couple of years left us looking at our homes a bit differently. Maybe you got work done, bought new furniture, but did you clear the air? You can with the Beam built-in vacuum system. So easy to use. The power unit is built in, so no more lugging of a heavy unit from room to room. You just plug the hose into the wall and go. The Beam is more powerful than an ordinary vacuum, and more power means it sucks more dirt out of your house or condo. And if you have dust-related allergies, you do need a Beam. Research shows use of a central vacuum system improves indoor air quality by over 50%. We're spending more time at home. Maybe you're even working remotely. Clear the air with the easy-to-install and easy-to-use Beam Central Vacuum System. Beam Central Vacuum System owners in the St. Louis region call it Beam Clean because no other vacuum can do what a Beam does. And you can learn more and get your Beam installed at beamstl.com. That's beamstl.com.
Beam's home sale is starting early. Every system for every size home now on sale.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
No child's life should be cut short. When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Underlaw took up the cause. We worked with brave families and took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned. Today, all blinds are made without cords, and countless young lives have been saved. I'm Jim Onder. At Underlaw, we're making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onderlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9 That's 9 all zeros.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. BWA and All Financial Group, LLC are separate companies.
Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Did you know that you can list your home with a full-service real estate brokerage for only 4%? Straight Realty is licensed in Missouri, and we would love to talk to you about a winning strategy to get your home sold while saving you money. Call us at 314-441-4444, 314-441-ALL-4s. Call us at 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 4?
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman. Now, Y98 presents 90 and 60. A look back at St. Louis City's match against Minnesota United.
Finder Winseed crosses in the air, Luga center, it's just a little high. Oh, it hit the top of the bar. Through to Ostrak. Oh, it's a jump, blows a shot, it's just wide. Oh, boy. Longo on a run down the middle, finds some friend. It's tapped by Berkey and hits on the post. Oh, wow. Garcia banked it off the middle in the second chance. Roman Berkey, the Maserati, in the 0-0 game, 78th minute, facing a penalty shot by Amaria. He fires and he buried it. Final score of 1-0. Minnesota hands St. Louis City his first loss in regular season franchise history.
This has been 90 and 60. St. Louis City heads to Seattle this coming Saturday to take on the Sounders. Pregame at 9, kick at 9:30 on Y98 St. Louis.
Well, I don't think anybody thought they were going to win all of them, but what a ride it was at 5-0. The City team drops one yesterday, 1-0 to Minnesota. The highlights right there. We bring in Sporting Director Lutz Fan and Steel. Sports on a Sunday morning with Tom Ackerman. Lutz, good morning and a happy Sunday to you. I know that it was a loss, but what a run your team has been on.
Yeah, happy Sunday as well. You know, definitely a great start into the season, and nobody expected 5 wins out of the first 6 games. A little bit unfortunate yesterday because I think Minnesota is normally a team which I would call it they're beatable, but the way they played yesterday, and lots of credit to them and also to Adrian Heath, they played tactically a very smart game. They did frustrate us. They made it very difficult, and it was quite typical that I think we were the better team or the more active team in the first half. We created some good chances, couldn't score, and then somehow you could get that feeling that in the second half they came out with a lot of energy. They came out, I would call it, they were really fired up. They were, nice and gritty. And somehow, looking at the second half, they deserved the result here. And that it was a penalty, which was a little bit questionable, was a bit of a shame, but in the end of the day, let's look at the positives from the first 6 games and look forward. It's all about the reaction now. It's all about a bounce back, and every series comes to an end.
Yeah, that's very well said. It's a great summary of it. And when it comes to that call and the goal in the 78th minute that led to Minnesota's win, you and Bradley Carnell have to be a little careful how you handle that, don't you? I mean, are there rules in place that you can't go too far in criticizing officials and let them handle it? How does that work?
At the end of the day, it's always about, it's up to us. They think it's the easy way out. You say that was the official's fault or this is the official's fault. There's always a decision to make, and everybody makes mistakes. Every human being makes a mistake, and I don't even want to say that the official made any mistakes yesterday. It was 2 50-50 decisions. I believe that our penalty, the one we gave away, it was our own fault. We could have defended that better from the start of the action. We could have also handled the situation in the box different. So it would be very, very wrong to blame the referee for that. And on the other end, when Klaus got kicked on the chin, that's another situation where, maybe he could have given the penalty, but, he didn't. And we had enough chances, Tom, in the first half to score a goal. We had enough moments also to defend that goal we gave away better. So why blame the referee? It's not the right thing to do. Let's look at ourselves, what we can do better. Let's analyze it, and then we try to do it better next week, and we leave the referee alone.
Yeah, what can you learn from a game like this, Lutz, from your first loss of the season?
I think we played yesterday against a team which was different from all the other teams we played before. They came in with a very good match plan. We knew that they will be difficult to play. That's how they are. They defend well. They make it very tight. They don't give many chances away. They try to catch you on the counterattack. And to be fair, I give them even more credit, Tom, how they did it yesterday, because they had a rough week. They trained indoors. They had lots of internationals coming back very late from the camps. They had with loss one of the top players out sick. So the way they came and they presented themselves just underlined the good start Minnesota have. I mean, they know they're unbeaten so far, and yesterday the way they played, we saw that. However, we had enough in the tank yesterday to walk away with a result, and I would have been happy with a draw. The way things went in the end, we had in the 95th minute a massive chance by Sam Adiniran, and it just went over the top. So there would have been obviously a perfect reaction after that, going 1-0 down and scoring a late equalizer that makes you actually feel like a winner, even though you only draw the game. But it was not meant to be yesterday. And as I said, it's no way. Let's not complain about this, or let's not complain about that. Let's also not find any excuses. Let's just look at what we can do better and focus on next week. And hey, we have next week the biggest game so far in the history of the club. We are still number 1 in the league, and we travel to number 2 in the league. I mean, come on, that's great. Who would have expected that on match day 7 to come? So, alone that must be enough motivation for everybody involved to really burn to go to Seattle and try to annoy and tickle a little bit the big favorite, because we, as an expansion team, as the young kids or the new kids on the block going to Seattle, the current Champions League winner in the CONCACAF region, I mean, there is only one favorite. But as you know from the past, we like to shock and annoy favorites, and that's how we want to go to Seattle and measure ourselves with the big boys.
I love it. You'll be taking on Seattle on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 8th, before returning home to play Cincinnati on the 15th. Before we go, I wanted to have you comment on two of your leaders, Roman Berkey, who had back-to-back clean sheets, and aside from a penalty kick, he was tremendous, and he was tremendous just overall yesterday, wasn't he? And then Tim Parker, what a player he is. He had one of his best games.
Yeah, with Roman, and I like to repeat that, for me, there is no doubt that he's the best keeper in the league. He didn't get that much to do yesterday on the line with saves, but looking the way he pushes the team, how good he was at the aerial game, and how involved he is with his feet, what a great football player he is, technically as well. That gives you that extra edge, I would say. Tim Parker, we all know, like, he's a natural born leader. He's loud, he's strong, he's vocal. He actually is a very important factor for us because he's the one who knows the league the best. He has that very, very important MLS experience. But also not forget yesterday that Klaus, without actually scoring a goal yesterday, had a tremendous game. His hold-up play was outstanding. He was involved in every dangerous situation. And he didn't get that many balls, but he still looked always dangerous. So overall, it's a loss under the dotted line, but we didn't have a bad performance. I thought we had a good first half. We didn't have a great second half, and let's look forward.
I think it's well said, and I always appreciate you joining us here on KMOX as you get back to work at City Park and then travel to Seattle for a game on Saturday night, which we will have right here on Y98 FM as we did last night. Lutz, thanks as always for being with us, and hello from down the street at Busch Stadium as we get ready for the Cardinals and the Blue Jays here.
Great. Good luck for the game, and we talk next week.
Thank you, sir. Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for St. Louis City SC. Great to hear from him always. City loses it 1-0, packed house, great crowd. They know what they're doing. They are all over it. You can just see and hear the crowd really embrace this team, but also this game. And we know we have a lot of soccer fans in this city that understand the game, but what you're understanding now and seeing is the casual sports fan is starting to understand the rules and starting to adopt this team and understand situations. And it's just a matter of time before it's already happened, but it's a matter of time before that becomes one of the great places to view a Major League Soccer game. The word it will get out, and every team will be talking about it eventually. Look, they weren't going to go 34-0, so they're 5-1, and another game, as Lutz said, against the number 2 team in the league, Seattle, as St. Louis remains number 1, top of the table with 15 points and a 5-1 record. The Cardinals are 1-1. They take on the Blue Jays this afternoon. We go back to baseball with Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. He joins us next. Tom Ackerman from Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village. Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning, back after this.
Weekday mornings at 10. It's The Show.
Whose name goes first, yours or mine?
Yours.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores.
Chris and Amy is easier to say than Amy and Chris.
Chris and Amy.
Insightful conversations.
So it's my show now with Amy.
News about what's happening in St. Louis. Special guests and so much more.
Well, here's what I was thinking. The Chris Ranji Show, and Amy is there too.
The Show.
You and me, we're the show.
Amy and Chris.
Weekday mornings at 10 on KMOX. KMOX After Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
We don't want you on our team. You're too slow and fat.
This is weight bias.
Don't you care how you look?
Those with the serious disease called obesity face weight bias every day.
You're not the right fit for this job.
And blame themselves.
I wish I was different.
Weight bias hurts.
Let's stop weight bias.
Be part of the solution. Go to stopweightbias.com. A public service message from Obesity Action Coalition.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Our oceans are home to most of the life on Earth, but today, plastic pollution is killing our oceans. 33 billion pounds of plastic enter the oceans every year. That's roughly equivalent to dumping 2 garbage trucks full of plastic into the oceans every minute. But you can help. Oceana is campaigning to stop plastic pollution at the source by calling on companies to reduce their plastic waste and offer plastic-free and reusable alternatives. Take action today at oceana.org/join.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
And today, coming to you from Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, looking in at Busch Stadium. The fans are down here, I can tell you that. This place is packed here and inside Bally Sports Midwest Live. It's always an event down here when the Cardinals host a game, and joining us is the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, who's right in the middle of it as well. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning, Tommy.
How are things? Let me start from the beginning. Opening day, you were so kind to come over and join us for Kegs and Eggs and then make your way onto the field for that opening day ceremony. How was that from your perspective?
Oh, it was amazing as always. I mean, I think first off, we were blessed with just great weather. Obviously the outcome of the game, we would have preferred differently, but I think just from a, excitement standpoint and I think all the people here for the Cardinals, they put on a great show and one that I think our fans really have great appreciation for. So I'm like them. I appreciate how we do opening day. I definitely feel it's unique and it's special. And this past one was no different.
I did not know that Adam was going to do that. And I thought that was such a great, I thought when he was injured that he would find some way to soak in opening day because that's just who he is. I did not know it was going to go to that level. That was really something.
Yeah, we were a few of us were sworn to secrecy on that one, and it was first off, it was incredible. He was so good, and then to have a player be able to do that is special. But I think any of us who've known Adam for as long as we have, I mean, there's pretty much nothing I would bet against him. And, singing is no different. I mean, the guy is just insane talent. And for him to be able to pull that off, I think for everybody that got to witness that was something certainly special and something no one will ever forget.
Yeah, it was really great. He was out there at City Park last night at the coin toss in the middle of the field. I mean, he is really something. We're lucky to have him. How is he doing? I understand that he played catch on flat ground yesterday. That's a good step, really, because I think he was initially going to be throwing from his knees just to take a little bit of pressure off that groin, and now he works his way back into a program.
Well, I think the good news is, arm is fine. So now it's just a matter of keeping that fresh. So when he does get cleared to put more stress in the groin area, then his arm won't have to catch up or be behind. And so ultimately, I think he's progressing where we hoped, and probably should have a better feel for exactly what this looks like here in the next week or so.
Gallegos is dealing with some soreness, tightness, I understand. And then, of course, you have Wilking Rodriguez already placed on the IL. How are those two?
Well, I'm hopeful Gio's available today. Spoke briefly with the training staff this morning when I came in. They were still running him through some tests, so probably get a little bit more information here before the start of the game. But, ultimately, it's tough, right, to start a season, but you had one off day when you don't have all 13 available, or maybe the easier way to say it is 8 in your bullpen. So obviously using Helsley in multiple innings yesterday, it's going to be probably very difficult to use him today. So hopefully Gio can be available, and hopefully we have the lead and need to sort of navigate that.
You have Jordan Montgomery going today. Meanwhile, Matthew Liberatore, he goes down. Just Memphis in general, they put out that batting order before their first game, and I think a lot of people said, whoa. Now, those of us who watched spring training knew that because of that camp of opportunity, you had a lot of players playing against major league talent. That's a good-looking lineup. And then Liberatore just came out and dealt, didn't he? A good outing for him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that was great to see. Obviously, he's somebody that we still have a lot of faith in, and believe he's someone that's going to contribute in a big way. So I think that the most important thing for him was to get off to a good start. He's someone that historically is taking a little time to really get going, and to see him at 95 to 98 missing bats was very encouraging.
So when people start talking about depth in this rotation, don't forget about the name Matthew Liberatore. I'm not sure anybody has, but just in case, remember what he's been doing, at least so far. Going back to yesterday, as we recapped, that first game was wild. I mean, 10-9 back and forth. 4-1 yesterday was kind of an interesting, different sort of game too. I mean, Jack Flaherty walks 7 but allows no hits. And the Cardinals no hit through a good portion of that game. But just how did you see that one?
Well, I think you can look at it a couple ways, right? I think the positive approach would be that we were able to avoid the big inning in terms of when you're giving free passes. Usually they come back to haunt you, and in this particular case they didn't. I think maybe the negative takeaway on that is the when you think about Jack, I think his stuff's good enough where he should be more in the zone and trust it. And, when you do that, I think then you can help manage your pitch count and find yourself going deeper into a game. So, I think yesterday was almost a little bit of a tale of two cities. And the good news is we didn't get burnt on it. And I think, he probably gained a lot of confidence from being able to successfully navigate that. So, I think that next outing will be really encouraging to see what he looks like. But, certainly a competitive game. And as you pointed out, I mean, these two games couldn't have been more different, right? There were a bunch of hits on Friday and much stingier yesterday.
Jordan Walker, that young man is really something. He steps up there, knocks one up the middle for his first hit. And then yesterday he gets 2 hits. And part of the reason is the guy can move. I mean, he gets down that line quickly and drives in a run. What a start for Jordan Walker, Mo.
Yeah, it's impressive. But I think the one thing that he can do is he hits the ball hard. And, it'll be interesting to see as he adapts to maybe finding a little bit more lift in that swing, what that ultimately looks like. But, that skill set is special. And, he really is a complete player. He has arm strength. He can run. He can play defense. And he's going to have the ability to put the ball in play, but also have power. So I think everybody that's getting a sneak peek at him is understanding why we were so excited about him coming into this offseason.
Oli Marmol told us that Lars Nootbaar was going to test out that thumb and see if he can get that better, take some swings, maybe even, who knows. But once he figures that out, you'll have your outfield mix all together. You got 5 of them. I wanted to ask you specifically about your center fielder, Dylan Carlson, and your thoughts on him heading into this game.
Well, I think it's good that he's getting an opportunity to play. I mean, we're trying to figure out the right balance in terms of how to get everybody at bats, how to keep people fresh. But, when you have that emergence of Walker, he's definitely put maybe a stranglehold, if you will, on some of that playing time. And so, Oli and his staff are going to try to do their very best to find that balance and make sure everybody can stay fresh. And so Carlson gets that opportunity today. Very hopeful that Lars can be back in the lineup tomorrow.
Mo, before we let you go, from an operations standpoint, how did the first 2 games go at Busch Stadium with the pitch timer? Does everybody like how that's set up? And I mean, we had a long game for the first game, and we had a lot of walks, et cetera, for the second game. But overall, are the feelings still good as we had in spring training that this is going to move things along?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that Thursday game was kind of funny, right? Not funny, but It was 3 hours and 28 minutes or 38, but it felt like 4 days because, for all of us that were down in spring training, I mean, we were basically playing in 2.5 hours every time. And then, yesterday was, even though a lot of free passes, the game still had some pace to it. And, net, it was 2.5. So, hopefully, and based on what's happening around the league, I think, the feedback I'm getting is everybody's pretty encouraged about how this looks and how it's working. And so, I hope from a fan standpoint, people are in favor of it. And, what I heard yesterday was, people like that, it's working. So, you're seeing more people try to steal bases. You're seeing more aggressiveness on the base pass. And, ultimately, I think the pace of play is legitimate. So I think it's a real win-win for everyone.
Yeah, you got those bigger bases and the attempt to steal, and Wilson Contreras throws somebody out, which was a great start to the season. And then he gets hit, and he's in the lineup today catching. What a sigh of relief that must be for everybody. Your prized acquisition in the offseason's okay. He's a big part of this.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Thursday night was a bit sleepless to know exactly what we had there. And so for him to be back in that lineup is super encouraging and, really good news for all of us.
No doubt about it. Hey, thanks as always for doing this. Appreciate the time. Enjoy the game today. We'll see you over there at the ballpark, Cardinals and Blue Jays at 1:15.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tommy.
There is John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, getting ready for a ball game today. Thanks to Oli Marmol and to John Mozeliak for joining us on these Sundays. When we come back, we'll circle back to the St. Louis Blues and the Battlehawks and wrap up everything we've talked about here today. We've had Lutz Pfannenstiel. We've had Dan Reardon talking Masters. We're KMOX. We're at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village. This is Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Back after this.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Beneath their gorgeous exterior, 1-800-GOT-JUNK trucks were designed to be ready for anything.
How about construction site junk?
All you have to do is point.
Retail, grocery store, warehouse, office junk?
Point, 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 point.
How about the monumental junk left after a fire or a flood or a hurricane?
This time, you'll need to do it with your other hand.
Why?
Because the first hand will be tired from all of that other pointing.
I see your point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
It's that special time of the year.
Let's see.
When a seemingly calm day
Let's have a little bit of this.
can turn from nice to nasty.
Oh, this looks good.
And it could happen in a blink of an eye.
And let's add some of that.
Springtime and Mother Nature in St. Louis.
Nope, I've changed my mind.
You never know what you're going to get. But when you need information about changing weather alerts, or storm warnings, there's one place you can get the information you can use. The official weather station. News Radio 1120 KMOX.
Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji here.
Join us Tuesday, April 18th at the Center of Creative Arts as KMOX presents a conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett.
Major will be there to sign his new book, The Big Truth.
You can pre-purchase your copy at Left Bank Books or the night of the event.
A conversation with CBS Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett, Tuesday, April 18th. The event is free. You do need to reserve your spot, though. For more information and reservations, KMOX.com/events.
Spring has sprung and we're ready for you at St. Louis Composting. This year, skip the garden center mayhem and conveniently order your compost, garden soil, or mulch for delivery straight to your home. Online at stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
Hi, I'm Gary LaVox from Rascal Flatts. You know, music has always been a huge part of my life. It's something that I started pursuing as a kid and never gave up on. It took a lot of hard work and dedication, but it paid off. Music has allowed me to travel around the world and to meet a lot of interesting people. So don't let anybody tell you that your dreams aren't possible, because they are. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Track your blood donations right from the palm of your hand and stay updated on special promotions. Download the American Red Cross Blood Donor app today. To learn more, go to redcross.org.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Back with you at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, getting closer to the start of the Cardinals and the Blue Jays here on KMOX. Yesterday, the Blues, they looked a little frustrated. It's getting towards the end. They're not going to make the playoffs, and they were blown out yesterday by the Nashville Predators. Final was 6-1. This was not a Jordan Binnington game. This was Thomas Greiss in net for the Blues, and he gave up 6 goals. That was just part of the story. There was a point when Craig Berube and Jordan Kyrou were yelling at each other on the bench. Tempers flaring as things are nearing the end of this season. Let's let then both of them kind of downplayed it, so let's let Craig Berube discuss things with the media here following the game yesterday.
You guys have played recently. Yeah, it wasn't a good game right from the get-go. Second period we had some opportunities in the power play and, did some good things, but other than that, it was not very good.
On the power play in particular, anything you noticed? I mean, you mentioned sloppy the other night. Is it just more of that?
They had some good looks tonight. But overall, for me, it's just it's not connected like it should be, and too slow. Just puck movement slow and thought process slow. Not shooting, just things like that slow.
The shorthanded goal given up, is that just kind of a momentum killer?
It's tough. It's a tough one to give up for sure. The way I look at it is, we should be back on it, defend it.
With Scandella, you have an update on him?
He's out. I'm not sure how long, lower body.
Is it just on that block shot in the second period?
Yeah.
And the PK we've talked about a lot this week. Same sort of things popping up again.
Well, the one guy gets a stick on the tip, the first one, and the last one there was kind of a tough play, bad bounce in my opinion. Goes off our guy into the net.
End of the second period, there's an exchange between you and Kyrou. Can you just explain what happened?
Part of the game. That's between us. All right.
All right, between us, he said. He shut that down pretty quickly. Let's get Kyrou's perspective on what happened out there. Here's Jordan Kyrou visiting with reporters. Again, this is Blue Note Productions.
You guys have been playing recently, just kind of disappointment today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we've been playing pretty good lately. Today we just came out kind of slow, and we just didn't really get to our game at all today.
How do you look at the way the power play was today?
It wasn't good enough.
Where do you find improvements?
We just need to be harder. I think we need to try to make our passes a little cleaner and and try to move the puck a bit quicker and support each other more.
And then on the shorthanded goal, obviously you're back checking there. What can you just take us through what you're seeing on that play?
I'm just trying to stop the puck I can without getting a penalty.
And in the second period, we saw there's a little exchange between you and Chief. Can you just explain what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, just a little heated argument. That's all it really is. Nothing else.
What's kind of the communication with you guys last week? I mean, I think you mentioned the 13 minutes the other night and didn't play it towards the end of the third period. What's kind of been that like with him this week?
We keep each other honest, and that's it. Just got to go out there and play.
Thanks, Susie.
All right, so there's Jordan Kyrou. So again, any of the Berube Kyrou talk, that's a walk-off question. So just be prepared. That's why a reporter will save that for a little bit later, because you're not going to come out and be like, hey, why'd you and Chief yell at each other? I mean, it's a touchy personal thing. So a couple of walk-offs there after Berube and Kyrou's question and answer sessions with reporters with regard to the yelling back and forth. It's going to happen. It's going to happen late in the year. The Blues, again, are not going to make the playoffs. They lost 6-1. They play the Bruins today. I see a couple of Bruins fans here at Cardinals Nation in this packed house. They're getting ready. They're celebrating a trip to the postseason. But the Blues won the Cup. Don't forget it now. Don't forget it. The Blues won the Cup, and it wasn't that long ago. And I do think that this team is a move or two away from being interesting here in this offseason. But with this current team, they're going to have to be much better defensively. You heard Craig Berube talk about Scandella and that injury. That's a tough year for Scandella if this is going to be it. Lower body injury after a blocked shot. Remember, he had off-season hip surgery. He was slow to come back because of that surgery. He wasn't able to come back right away. Same with Scott Perunovich, who had off-season surgery. And when these two are missing, the Blues did not have depth defensively. Bottom line, that was a tough way to start a season. I believe they tried to tough it out. They got on that incredible win streak, but not a consistent hockey team. And in the end, this is where they are. They are on the outside looking into the playoffs. They had to sell off pieces, and now they try to reload and get it back together. And it's a very proud hockey franchise that is not going to do anything more than capture the moment because the fans are loyal, and they're going to try to build this thing as soon as possible while the fans are right on top of them, because they are. They're not going to do anything to keep those turnstiles from humming. I'm certain of that. In fact, let me bring in one more player. This is Braden Shen. Let's get some of his thoughts. Schenner after a 6-1 loss to Nashville yesterday.
I think, I don't think we had our even close to our best game, and turned over pucks and lost battles, and probably took a team, lightly that's fighting for the playoff life. So that's what happens when you don't show up.
When you look at the special teams today, where do you kind of look for improvement?
Everywhere. PK's got to get back here for the next 6 or 7 games or whatever you have left. Just kill off some penalties. You're giving up way too many goals right now, and same thing with PP. Just execution, quicker, sharper, more urgency, and you can't be not scoring on the power play and giving up that many on the PK.
PK, is there something in particular you're noticing in the last 4 games, whether it's bad reads or aggressiveness?
Maybe could be more aggressive, or maybe sometimes we're aggressive at the wrong times, and we're getting beat with seam passes and or shots, or obviously they're getting goals like at the end there where they're going in. It's not just one particular play, right? So we'll be better tomorrow. Against Boston, we know we have to be. That's a good team that if you're not ready to play, it'll be even worse than today. So
Can a day like today be just more frustrating? I know we talked about the disappointment, but is it frustrating as well, or
in what what regard? Like just
I guess at the end of the second period, I don't know if you saw with Chief and Kyrou, and it feels like there was some frustration there.
Yeah, that's between Chief and Kyrou. I'm not going to elaborate on that or whatever, but we just know as a team we have to play better and play better in front of our goalies and show up the last 6 or 7 games here. Good. Yes.
And there's another walk-off, the walk-off question again. But, that it is necessary to ask. It's got to be asked. If it's is that visible on the bench that you've got Kyrou and Berube jawing at each other, but everybody kind of played it off as being personal and part of the game, and on they go. The Blues and the Boston Bruins this afternoon at 2:30 at Enterprise Center. Meantime, the St. Louis Battlehawks are going to get started here in just over an hour. They're playing down in Houston, not at NRG Stadium, which the Final Four is taking place, but at the University of Houston Stadium. They're going to be taking on the Houston Roughnecks for the second time. Both of those teams are 2-2. Battlehawks finished their road schedule with a visit in Houston to face the XFL South Division leading Houston Roughnecks. Battlehawks have a league-high 3 road victories on the season. They will join San Antonio as the only XFL teams to have already played all 5 of their scheduled regular season road games. Now, they'll be playing a team and completing a regular season schedule with 3 straight home games, beginning with Vegas on Saturday, April 8th at the Dome. So here in the month of April, after this road game, the Battlehawks will finish out their schedule with 3 straight home games. Plan your schedule accordingly and snap up those tickets. This is already the 7th game of the season for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Here at Busch Stadium, Cardinals and Toronto Blue Jays. That's exciting, no doubt. There'll be a lot of fans here. And we are closing in on 2 months away from the NASCAR race at Worldwide Technology Raceway. NASCAR coming to Worldwide Technology Raceway. It will happen on June 4th, the NASCAR Cup Series. It's not the only thing that will happen, as there will be a lot going on with regard to the trucks. They'll be running here at Worldwide Technology Raceway just 5 minutes from the Arch. There's going to be a Cup practice on Saturday, qualifying the Toyota 200 Craftsman Truck Series, all on Saturday. The first ever JJK 5K, Jackie Joyner Kersey 5K, will be on the Oval on Saturday, and then a concert. Yes, there are concerts happening throughout the weekend at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Noticing the announcement yesterday, and again, for my partnership with Worldwide Technology Raceway, it's been nice to know what's going on behind the scenes and many, many workers who are making this happen. They sold out the race last year, partly because of the Confluence Festival lineup that was announced with all of those great artists there last year. Here's the lineup this year. Dierks Bentley, Flo Rida, Brothers Osborne, Brittany Spencer, Bailey Zimmerman, who is an up-and-coming country artist, and much more. Flo Rida is a 5-time Grammy nominee, American rapper and singer. Will be performing on Saturday after all of that activity at the track, the qualifying, the trucks race, the JJK 5K. On Sunday, Brothers Osborne, American country music duo, and Bailey Zimmerman will be performing, as well as the big performer late that night will be Dierks Bentley following the race with the Cup race. So Bailey Zimmerman, Brothers Osborne, and Dierks Bentley all performing on Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway. That is the Confluence Music Festival lineup that was announced just this past week by David Stewart and all the folks at Worldwide Technology, and Curtis Francois, the owner and CEO of Worldwide Technology Raceway. That is going to move some tickets too. So I'd go to Worldwide Technology Raceway's website, www.raceway.com, and grab some tickets for NASCAR, because it is going to sell rather quickly. Here at Busch Stadium, tickets available for today's game as the Cardinals take on the Blue Jays. If you want to try to snag one before they come close to selling out, they're going to have another big crowd here today. They had a huge one on Thursday for opening day. Big crowd for a Saturday and Sunday as well. This weekend, it's the Cardinals and the Blue Jays. We told you that the big news is Wilson Contreras is back in the lineup. He is behind the plate, catching and batting 5th today. Jordan Montgomery will be his pitcher. The Cardinals and the Jays going today, and a number of teams playing across Major League Baseball on this Sunday afternoon. Joe Pott is going to have the pregame. at the top at 12:20. He will go to Network Pre. We'll hear from him after the noon news. We have much to come on KMOX today. Cardinal baseball against Toronto. Post-game coverage to follow from inside the ballpark with Joe. John Rooney, Ricky Horton, Mike Claiborne, and Jim Jackson have the broadcast in very short time. Thanks for joining us on Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning from Ballpark Village.
It's your thing. What's on Dave Glover's mind?
Used to be, in another part of my life, being a thing was good.